Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Ishmael, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about what's going on with this whole KONY 2012 movement that's going on. Just wanted to start out and say that I think the movement we're all in it for the right reasons. Joseph Kony doesn't need to be taken out of power. Having the story of Jacob and, with all the children sleeping, next to each other for however many years that was going on is definitely something that needs to be a concern. It needs to be, and a lot of people need to be aware of it. It's not okay that there are child soldiers in the world. It's not okay that Joseph Kony is doing this, and it's not okay that he has sex slaves for women. Now, my only concern here, and this is where, I feel that it needs to be discussed and it needs to be thought about, it needs to be brought aware to a lot of people, is what are the unintended consequences of us helping, the whole KONY movement? Outside of the government getting involved, what happens? What are the unintended consequences that happen? And I was sitting here thinking about it this morning, after, seeing all the KONY 2012 posts, on Facebook or on Twitter, saying stop KONY. I myself, jumped into the bandwagon, and said, hey, yeah, this is great, just after watching the video, and it was a reaction to it. But after, the reaction stopped, I started thinking, what could possibly be a response or a consequence to it? And so I started thinking about what does Uganda have that the U.S. could possibly need? Because it was stated in the video, and I quote, that there was no way that the United States will ever get involved in a conflict where our national security or financial interests are at stake. So I did a quick Google search, and I found that Uganda is actually really big on oil. They have a very, very large amount of crude oil that's untapped. And so with the U.S. being, a oil-consuming country, we're actually the biggest, oil-consuming country in the world. It would make sense for the government to get involved now, And I feel that as though we need to ask ourselves, 5 years down the road, if Uganda, and this is a very big if Uganda is, a war-torn country as a result of our doing, can we honestly and consciously live with that response? My only thing here, and I keep saying it, is what are the unintended consequences? I was looking on Facebook and Twitter, like I was saying earlier, and I saw all these posts, right? And I noticed it went from a day where 115,000 people roughly saw the video, and it jumped to today, and I was just looking at it, and it was over 11 million people. Where did this whole movement come from? He said that it was, it took 8 years, for this to actually happen. It took 8 years for them to, get everybody connected and to get awareness going, and that's great. But it seemingly just came out of nowhere, and that's kind of just where it's what's going on? It's it basically popped up out of thin air, and then now everybody's oh my gosh, I'm so aware, and it's just dude, take a second to think about what you're really getting yourself involved in. And that's where my concern is. The other thing that I really want to get across is I'm not a person that's going to try to, derail the movement. I'm not a person that's going to sit there and say, let's not help this movement out. My only thing is I want to make sure that people are asking themselves the questions before they donate their money or they donate their time about what the unintended consequences of this are. It was in the video he was talking about try, and it was, all donations and proceeds go to try, and it was very ambiguous as to what try was actually about. And I just want to make sure that people understand what is try. You could be, without you even knowing it, you could be donating to something that's helping fund, third world, countries to fight each other, or give arms and guns to, another rebel army, and you might not even know it. So make sure that you know what try is, make sure that you understand where this whole, movement is going. And lastly, really think about what the unintended consequences are if the United States gets involved. Once again, my name is Ishmael. You can follow me on twitter.com/ TheIshYu. That's TheIshYu. You know, follow me on Twitter. If you see this on YouTube, like it, comment it. Let me know what you think so that I can say and respond to it. All right. Thanks for having me, you guys. Thanks for watching it. Peace.